Hey everyone, so today I am talking about Dmon by Matt Wesolowski, and this was a book that I received in the Abominable Book Club box. And yeah, I would just do a nice little short review on it. It wasn't too long of a read, it was nice and quick, this one. I have read a book by this author before, and this book is in the same series as that one. I read Deity, and this is Dmon, and it's an episode in the 6 stories. And I say episode because this book is written in the form of a podcast. So 6 stories is basically, well, it says here on the front, an unspeakable crime, a cursed village, 6 witnesses, 6 stories, which one is true? So the Scott, the man in this podcast, he basically picks up true crime stories, and then he goes around and he will investigate them and interview 6 people that have obviously 6 different perspectives on one case. So the last one, it was a mysterious death of a famous musician, and in this one it's the story of 2 12-year-old boys who kill another boy. So it's 2 child killers who then go on to kill one of their classmates in this horrific act that happens. And there's a lot of kind of mystery around it. They're not sure if something's happened to do with this village. There's something creepy. One of the boys, it goes very in depth in one of the boys whose mother is seen as a bit of an outcast in the village, and she dies, and how her death affects him and how she was a little bit strange. And yeah, so you get a lot of different perspectives. So there's some people in the stories who take a very paranormal view of the case, and there are some who were just like, well, the boys are just messed up because of their upbringings. Some people blame the parents, and some people think that the boys are just evil. So it's collecting all these different perspectives, and like I said, it's told in the form of a podcast. So you're reading interviews, and you also get like information through emails, because the person who is doing the podcast in this book, who is the narrator throughout, he's receiving threatening emails from someone and you're not really sure. You also get like news clippings, so you can read, that's the Dispatch online news event. And yeah, you kind of piece the story together piece by piece. Now, I will feel like in his last book, Deity, there was very much a definitive ending. I feel like this one still leaves a little bit open-ended, where it kind of leaves up to the reader to decide what happened to the boys and why they did what they did. The story, you're following the story from when they were younger, but in present day in the book or the podcast, the boys are older and they're being released from prison, and they are having new identities, and people are trying to uncover the boys' identities. And there's kind of a debate whether, like, should the public be made aware of their identities, or should they be kept hidden? Like, have they paid for their crime really? Have they do they feel remorse about their crime? And yeah, like I said, it does feel a little bit open-ended. I remember when I first saw this book and I read the back, and I kind of pulled parallels to a case in the UK where 2 young boys had killed a younger boy, gone off and killed him, and then they were obviously put in juvenile detention. And then years later, same thing happened. They were being released and people were trying to find out their identities, and had similar feels to this. Or this book does go more the paranormal route. And yeah, it was interesting. I did enjoy it. I feel like I liked Deity more just because, like I said, it had a more definitive ending, whereas this one was a little bit more open-ended. But I still really enjoyed it. I was really hooked on the story. I was worried it's going to go too gruesome, but it doesn't go in depth into the actual murder of the child. It's more reflecting on the children's lives and their parents, and seeing how their parents affected their lives. You read, there are letters that one of the boys writes to his mother after she has passed away, and you read some of those letters, so you get insights into their minds and their psyche, and how their view of things was totally different to how some of the villagers saw what had happened, which was totally different to what outsiders saw happening in the village. So yeah, it was interesting. It was kind of book that was reflecting on, yeah, very much reflected on different people's perspective on this crime, which I found very interesting, and it kept me hooked. I read it within a couple of days. I really wanted to know what was going to happen, and yeah, I have read, I don't know if this is going to be the last book in this series, because like I said, it says everything kind of rolls on 6 in this, so the ending almost made it feel like there wasn't going to be another one. Scott King, the guy who is the character who does the podcast in this book, he kind of signs off at the end, and it almost makes it feel like it's the last one. If it is, I'm definitely going to have to find the rest of his books, because like I said, I really enjoyed Deity, and then this is Dmon, so these are the last 2 in the series. So this is the 6th book in the series, which is why people are speculating it might be the last. But he has written obviously the others. So the first one is called 6 Stories, and then it's Hydra, Changeling, Beast, and then Deity and Dmon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so it's the 6th story. So I'm definitely going to go back and search the other ones. A lot of people were saying this was probably their least favourite in this series. Like I said, I've only read 2. I did like Deity better, but I also did really like this. I would probably give this a 4-star. It was definitely very interesting, and I like the writing format, and I like the way the author writes this book. It's very interesting. So yeah, I do really recommend, if you like watching true crime podcasts, like watching them on YouTube or what have you, I would recommend checking out this book, because it has, like I said, it's that similar format. You're just reading it instead of listening to it, but it's really good stories, and obviously these are made up stories, but yeah, very well written and well done. So yeah, I would give this a 4 stars. I enjoyed it. So that's my review on Dmon by Matt Wesolowski. I do recommend, if you're into crime novels. If you're into true crime, I recommend it. Like I said, these aren't true stories, but they're presented in a true crime sort of way. But yeah, I think you might enjoy them, and I definitely did. I will note this book, I don't know what happened. I don't know if you can see on this book, there's like cracks along the bottom, and I really cracked the spine on it. Like, it's like really liney, and I don't normally do that with my books. I mean, this one did because it's a big one, but I don't know, for some reason I don't feel like I was being that rough with it when I was opening it, but just me like doing this with the book, it has like cracked along the bottom here, which is really rare. I don't really see that in books very often. Occasionally with the spine, because sometimes if it's like a big book and I'm like eating or reading or whatever, I'll, you know, kind of crack the spine to make it lay open a bit easier. But you don't, yeah, on the back as well here, you don't often see it cracking along the front. So I mean, it doesn't really matter. I can still, it's still perfect, you know, perfect quality. I can still reread the book if I wanted to. Yeah, just a random note to add. I don't remember the other one doing that, although I did look at the spine, and the spine's pretty cracked from the other one as well. So maybe it's just whatever publisher makes these books. But anyway, that's irrelevant. So as always, thank you for watching, and until next time, bye guys.